What it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new chapter of Blade Maker DxD. And honestly, normally, like I've always said, I only uploaded this series when I'm basically in a bad mood and all that. However, I feel like I'm on a roll right now, so I think I'll continue the chapters going for at least a little while. And we'll basically be into that of the new arc, which is going to be a fully original arc instead of tying into that of a main arc like I did with that of the Fallen Angel arc. However, it still has to do with the involvement in the, actions of the stupid Riser arc, to be honest, and basically has some consequences. But it also involved adding more to that of the character development of that of Leon in that of Sona's peerage. Letting you guys know this now. Any rate, so let's go with that of a recap. In the last part, we finally reached the end of the Fallen Angel arc, with everything basically closing up. With Reese and her peerage alongside Issei were able to save Asya before her sacred gear was removed. All thanks to that of Kaliner, giving that of information about setting up that of the stray exorcists that were basically led to Kuo, and also working with that of the Gremory Sacred Gear Squad known as the Hero Strike Force. So yeah, not to mention Leon also forwarding that of the assassination plot on that of Sona from that of Flynn and Erst, with Leon working his butt off, planning strategies and tactics to take down Erst, with Erst being a lot more stronger and a lot more capable than giving credit for. So he had to use, and even remembering something from that of his past that his dad showed him. And because of that, he was able to defeat one of the strongest stray exorcists, Gremory, with strategy, tactics, and planning, not with raw power or plot armor. However, Erst, on the other hand, not really caring about that of his fallen comrade, and basically surrenders to that of Kaliner, and are waiting for punishment, as it feels like his life is far more important than fulfilling his duty to his master. However, speaking of his master, he won't be basically seeing, consequences of his actions due on how important he is. So once again, Rainer is basically thrown under the bus and told that she was the one who planned the assassination instead. But Flynn was not done yet. With the last remaining of his strength, infusing what left of his holy power inside of his body into that of his chakras, and tried to kill that of Kalina and Leon, with Leon's blades protecting him. However, Leon wanted to protect Kalina, which cost him a leg and an arm, as he basically lays there bleeding out, almost about to die, until Sona deciding to reincarnate him as a reincarnated devil as a way of saving him, finally getting that of the King of Monsters into her peerage. And not only that, after healing him, finally explaining on why she always wanted him in her peerage, as she plans on making a rating game school to teach that of the education system and rating games to that of reincarnated devils and low-class devils, just wanting to help and grow her species knowledge after all. And with that, Leon accepts. Even if he was forced to, he actually accepts her reasoning and doesn't mind being her servant now. As now, Leon's journey into the supernatural continues on. So, with all that said, let's get in this, shall we, guys? Chapter 9, I'm Surrounded by Idiots. It's been a few days since Leon has become part of Sona's peerage and is now a cemented reincarnated devil. And let's just say it's been crazy, both in a good way and in a bad way. First example, when he was first being healed by that of Sona and she was in that of his dorm room, let's just say it basically made it pretty awkward for two reasons. First reason is having a girl basically sleep with him while naked, after all. In his mind, he basically said that this is inappropriate. However, a part of him couldn't help but enjoy it at the same time. But even so, why the hell did he have to be healed by skin contact? Why did they not have any normal healing magic? Thankfully, it made that of Leon realize he needs more healing blades. So he already has plans to create that of more healing blades for him so he doesn't basically deal with the same bullshit before and have the whole skin-on-skin contact just to heal somebody. Whoever's idea was that, for devils to heal each other by that of skin contact, needs to be lynched immediately. The second reason is, it was also insightful to that of devil politics while they were basically getting their clothes ready for school. Leon now understands on how devils basically work as a society. He already found out that devils are basically dying out. Well, not devils in general, mainly that of pure-blooded devils. The devils known as the 72 Pillars. The ones that the wise King Solomon took control over when he was around, and were created by that of Lucifer and his wife Lilith, who was the first wife of Adam. Because devils were not created normally and naturally, them being born by that of, well, natural means through that of birds and the bees bullshit does not apply. Given the original method has been basically lost to time, they have to do it like that of normal means, through like how other species do, which is less, well, successful. Reincarnated devils are basically made to restock their numbers, while also rebuilding that of their forces as well. Basically, in a way, it's slavery and building up that of a, well, foot soldier army with that of the most powerful people in the world. They mainly look at those with that of sacred gears and with that of powerful bloodlines to be part of their peerages. While most majority of devils, mainly that of male devils, gain that of mainly have that of females so they can get their own goddamn harems. And let's just say that is so fucking annoying. Look, I won't lie, I am a hot-blooded male. I wouldn't be too tempted about the whole harem thing, but to be honest, it is a goddamn annoyance. Your species is dying out and all you think about is basically your own carnal pleasure. Get your shit together. In simpler terms, reincarnated devils have no rights. None whatsoever. I mean, sure, she told me that reincarnated devils can basically gain rank from that of low class, mid class, high class, and so on and so forth. Once reach high class, they can basically gain that of their own peerage, but they're still connected to that of their original king no matter what. So it's only that of a small retrieve of freedom. Well, given that Sona's a pretty fair person when she's not being that of the, well, cold-hearted president of Kuo Academy, I would at least say she's a lot more fair. Not to mention, I did promise her I would help her build her rating game school. Plus, I even told her I was okay with being a teacher when she even made it too. So it's not all bad, to be honest. I even got to know that of the rest of the other girls that are part of the student council. Tsubaki is still basically the ice queen as always, pretty damn strict. However, for some reason she's a little less, well, strict around me though. At least letting me to get off at least a little bit more easier than everybody else in the peerage, which I have not found out why, but I will in the future, hopefully. Momo has always been kind of a stickler for the rules, and not only that, she's kind of a pain in my ass. Soon as I joined that of the student council, she's always been basically harassing me constantly. If it isn't her, it's either Sona. But what do I expect from that of a rich girl, to be honest? Since she joined that of Sona's peerage due to that of her family connections being connected to that of the Citri family. So as payment for basically supporting that of her family company, she became that of Sona's bishop. I think out of everybody on that of Sona's peerage, she has the least combat experience, which is not going to help in this situation. Then there's Tsubasa. The athletic chick of the student council has always been somewhat of a tease. Hell, ever since she got to know me a little better, she's actually been a lot more easier to work with. Teasing and basically messing with me like hell, which is pretty annoying, but not in a bad way, in a way that basically insults me or anything. She always tries to get a laugh out of me, and I won't lie, it's not half bad. She joined that of Sona's peerage during that of junior high. Tsubasa ended up running into that of a stray devil, and because of that, and that was at the same time when Sona, Tsubaki, and Momo took care of it. Wanting to become a reincarnated devil, and was actually quite athletic, she couldn't take the opportunity. She may not have that of a sacred gear or anything special, but she makes up with it with hard work and a pretty good can-do attitude. So, she isn't half bad. Then there's Ri, the same chick that's basically in that of my homeroom class, alongside that of Tsubaki. Not only she's basically the top-ranking student within the entirety of the second years, when it comes to academics, she's also quite a damn stickler too, always on my ass constantly, to get to work when it comes to being a student council member, and to take my job seriously, since, well, Sona and Tsubaki have been at least a lot more, lenient when it comes to me working. For some reason, she made it her task to basically become my goddamn taskmaster. Ow. Still haven't gotten used to the whole damn saying the big man's name after all. Other than that, turns out she's a lot more secretive, not willing to basically say what's about her, to be honest. And to be fair, I could really care less. Girl's way too much of a bitch. Speaking of a bitch, but surprisingly less of an annoying bitch, let's talk about that of Tomoe. Tomoe is really something else. She's really bubbly, really energetic, and not on that, she really flirts with me a lot. Occasionally to the point that it becomes really uncomfortable for me. I found out that Tomoe was once a member of the Kendo Club, actually, back during her first year, but Sona basically took an interest in her, to be honest. Kinda makes sense. Rumors said that she was basically the third best student in that of the Kendo Club, before that of the third years basically moved on. Mirai and basically Katase decided to became that of the two captains of the Kendo Club. Not to mention, she, just like that of Ri, she was also a freaking Kiba fangirl after all. So I can tell all the teasing that she does to me is mainly just for playful annoyance and basically just to get a rise out of me. It's pretty goddamn fake after all. Plus, she really let it slip that she actually likes shorter guys. Simply put, she likes shotas. And hey, to reach their own sexual preference. And last but not least, my fellow pawn and my kohai, Ryoko. Honestly, I remember, now that I think about it, I actually met Ryoko during that of my first year at Kuo, when my so-called infamy was basically being spread across the school. I helped her during her time at that of when she wanted to meet with that of Sona, and showed her to that of the student council room, when Sona was still a member of that, was still just a basic member of the student council, and was starting to basically become the student council president. Little did I know she was basically chosen by Sona herself to be part of her peerage, and I actually helped her out. Since then, I kind of found out that she's been looking out for me on the side, especially during that time when the perverted trio, or rather, two members of the perverted duo, were basically or threatened with expulsion. She's been trying to put out fires and basically supported me, but it also started another rumor that I basically threatened her and manipulated her to basically try and defend me. If anything, I really feel bad for her helping me out, and I really need to thank her for it. I need to show some way to show my appreciation for my little kohai. Just thanking her isn't enough, to be honest, and I don't even know what to just thank her with. Also, speaking of my time with that being part of the student council, at first I thought I was going to be that of the new secretary for her after all. However, turns out I'm not her secretary. I'm basically part of the student council's new discipline committee. Basically, my duty is to basically reassure the rules and punish those who basically break them. In a way, it's supposed to reassure the students in the school that I'm now basically being tamed by the student council and now using my hooligan and my delinquent behavior for the better of the school. Unsurprisingly, the teachers ate it up without any, reservations. Hell, the goddamn dean basically accepted it too. As for the student body, let's just say there's now a new fucking rumor about me now, saying that I am basically a tamed dog for the student council. I'm now their attack dog. I can now basically have the right to basically beat the living shit out of people, even though I've never touched a single person at Kuo Academy, inside the school or out. But of course, stigmatism and basically xenophobia still exists as somebody who was born and raised in Japan after all. As for the perverted trio, such as Issei, Moriyama, and Mariasu, let's just say they have also been a pain in my ass too. Especially the perverted duo, who also been spreading rumors that I've been manipulating and basically taking advantage of that of the girls of the student council. And I got to say, I have never felt so fucking annoyed in my entire damn life. Thankfully, video games and music basically takes the edge off alongside training. Hell, I was almost close to not even being able to train anymore due to that of my other duties as a devil now. Turns out, since there are two devils, they now have that of a certain cycle on how they basically take care of this town. While the Gremory basically take over the night and basically take out that of stray devils and do contracts during the evening, we basically take care of the town during the day / the afternoons. So honestly, it's basically right after school is done, we have to basically do contracts and basically patrol the town, which is kind of an annoyance, to be fair. Hell, even my first time doing contracts, my very first day is that of a devil, and let's just say, never again. I swear, I am never doing that shit again. I had to literally basically toss out flyers to people. Sure, I had that of Ryoka helping me alongside that of Tsubaki, surprisingly. But again, I am not doing that shit. And during my second day, when I actually got a contract and actually met my contractor, a family friend of my parents, after all, who I call that of Suno-chan, basically is one of the contractors of the Sona family. So that means I'm now her new contracted devil. She also began wondering if my parents were devils, and I told her that I'm not. I just recently became one, and please don't tell anyone else about this, especially my parents. Suna-chan's basically a 40-year-old woman who runs a family-style cafe, after all. And let's just say helping her out has been kind of an annoyance and a pain in the ass. It's not that I don't have a problem with that of manual labor. It's more that I feel like it's a waste of my damn time. When I told Sona this, she told her that's the only way for him to gain that of contracts and gain prestige if he wants to rank up. Hearing this basically made him more and more annoyed, as he tries to find some way to get out of the whole contract business. He just has to think it over as time goes on. Last but not least, the current now. Finding out that, turns out, the second years are getting a new transfer student, and it's going to be in that of Class 2B, the same class where the perverted trio are, and Kuo's female pervert. Turns out the rumors says that she's basically a girl that comes straight from that of Europe, mainly coming from that of Italy, and said that she has that of blonde hair and blue eyes. Not to mention, rumors also say that she's basically a naive girl who doesn't know anything about the outside world, which makes me feel a little bit worried, especially being part of the perverted trio after all. But even so, the school never shuts up about her. On my way to that of the student council, from my classroom, I got a good look at her, and she was surrounded by that of girls from that of Class 2B, especially that of the Kendo girls. And let's just say, she is pretty downright beautiful. Like the very definition of how that of guys would fawn over that of, Western women. And I gotta say, I feel so bad for her being part of that class. Sure, the Kendo girls are in there, but they're literally the enemies of all men, to be honest. Since they see literally every man as enemy, unless your name is Yuto Kiba. Best to basically keep my distance from a girl like her after all, which I make sure I do. However, that all changed during a certain little day. The third day as that of a newly reincarnated devil, with Sona saying, "Everyone, we're heading to that of the Occult Research Club." Within hearing this, while I'm basically on that of my handheld game, with that of Core alongside that of Godfrey basically looking over, as they enjoy me basically playing my games, saying, "What are we even doing, Prez?" Within Tsubaki basically cutting off that of Sona saying, "We'll be meeting that of the Gremory peerage to introduce that of our newest peerage member, that being you and her newest peerage members." Within saying, so basically in a cultural exchange. Honestly, I have no idea on who the hell did Gremory-san even have in our peerage. But my guess, I'm thinking that Hamejima Senpai is part of her peerage though, given that the two are always together, to be honest. Within hearing that, Momo saying, quite the observation. Anyone else? Putting that of his handheld game in his pocket. Within basically trying to think properly, saying, my other speculation is that Yuto Kiba is basically part of her peerage too. Within hearing that, Ryoko saying, wow, senpai, you figured that out too? Within saying, hey, he's the most popular guy in the school. It would be weird if he wasn't part of her peerage. Since he isn't part of the student council, I figured. Within, Sona saying, I figured as much. Anyone else? Within thinking, no one else comes to mind outside of the stupid mascot of Kuo. But there's no chance that antisocial bitch is basically part of her peerage. Within, everybody hearing this as looking back. Before then, Godfrey saying, hey boss, I think you're on the money. Everybody's pretty quiet when you said that. Within, looking back at Godfrey, within realizing, you're joking. Within, Sona saying, I know you never actually explained the reason what you have against that of Konako, Taojo. Within, Leon saying, look, I have quite a bit I want to say about that of the goddamn mascot. Within, wincing saying, ow, still not gotten used to that yet. But it would be basically taking too long. So let's just get this over with. So who are the new members of Gremory's peerage? Within, Tomo saying, you just have to see for yourself. Come on. Within, he couldn't help but sigh, getting out of his chair and scooting it back to his desk, following after that of the fellow peerage members as they walk across campus, head behind that of the woods behind the school, and then seeing the old schoolhouse. As he remembers back then when he joined that of Kuo, he found out that the whole schoolhouse is basically haunted and abandoned after making the new academy. And instead of demolishing it, turns out one of the new girls of Kuo ended up basically taking it over herself, making it her headquarters for the Occult Research Club. And honestly, it's basically an exclusive club. Not even you can basically sign up for it at all. Its president and vice president had to be the ones to allow you to join. And honestly, that has to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Until I found out the reason why it's like that now. Which makes it even more annoying, to be honest. Especially since this is a school where extracurricular activities basically matters to your education. And it restricts you from even graduating from the school. Which even to this day, I still find stupid as hell. Walking up the stairs, walking through that of the hallways, before noticing that of a door. However, one of my blades, being that of Veil, basically couldn't help but stop behind this door. This door basically has tons of police tape and locks basically over it. But then, Leon going to Veil saying, you sense something behind this door, Veil? Saying, of course I do. And it's quite something powerful too, and filled with darkness as well. Whatever it is, Gremory has no way of controlling it. Within, Leon couldn't help but narrow his eyes saying, what the hell does she even have behind his door? Within, Ryoko saying, senpai, you're coming? Saying, yeah, come on. Veil saying, yeah, I got it, master. As the big-titted goth basically fades off too. Before then, Sona basically saying, everyone please be your best behavior, especially you, Leon-kun. Saying, yeah, I will, promise. Within, Rii can up and say, and show a little bit more respect too. You're going to be representing that of some. You'll be representative president's peerage after all. At least try to be presentable. Saying, and do you always have to be on my ass about stuff like this? Within, she getting a little bit more annoyed as the brunette-haired Twin Tails can help but basically narrow her eyes at that of Leon. Within, Sona saying, you two, please, stop acting like children and act responsibly. Within, Rii saying, yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. With Leon saying, yeah, sorry. Within her, as he mentally talks with that of his blades. With Dahlia saying, she really does crease you, doesn't she, darling? With Leon sighing, saying, you have no idea. She just rubs me the wrong way. With Core couldn't help but laugh, saying, just try not to take it too seriously, okay? Saying, yeah, whatever. Within hearing a voice from the other side saying, please enter. Within entering that of the club room, within seeing how large it is actually, within noticing on the very back being that of a teleportation circle with the sigil of that of the Gremory family, within noticing those of the Gremory peerage, mainly its king, Rias Gremory, the crimson-haired princess, and most popular girl in all the school, otherwise known as the Great Lady of Kuo. Second being that of a ponytailed ravenette with an orange ribbon basically keeping up that of her hair, with that of a large bust and everything, being the second Great Lady of Kuo, Akano Himejima. Second being that of the Prince of Kuo and most popular guy and most infamous guy as well, Yuto Kiba, always having that fake-ass smile as always. And then there's also a short, silver-haired girl with that of a cat hairpin and quite petite as hell, and always has that of a stoic and somewhat annoyed look on her face, at being Konako Taojo, the school Kuo Academy's mascot. Before then, Leon noticing that of the two other members, with his eyes widening in pure and utter shock, and also in that of pure fucking annoyance, knowing on who the new member is, as he remembers that change in aura within that person a few days ago. Within, soon, that very person being Issei Hayato, as he also having his eyes widening, noticing that of Leon too. Within, Sona and Rias begin to speak, saying, well, what do I expect from that of the student council? It's good to see you again, Sona. Within, Sona smiling, however, more as that of a formal greeting, but also in a way of, casualness, saying, likewise, Rias. I thought that it would be best if we introduced that of our newest peerage members after all, since you gained that of two new peerage members, if I recall. Within, Rias crossing her arms below that of her ample chest, saying, no, you're not wrong. These are my two newest peerage members, Issei Hayato and Asia Argenta. It's a pleasure to... Please introduce yourself. And your newest, saying, yes, my newest pawn is Leon Takum. Within, Issei couldn't help but spoke up and catching that Sona off guard, saying, why the hell is he here? Within, Leon having that of annoyed look behind his glasses, saying, yeah, the feeling's mutual, perverted asshole. With Issei getting annoyed, saying, you want to say that again, you pretty boy gaijin? Within, Leon couldn't help but get annoyed at this, saying, pretty boy gaijin, huh? Seriously? Is that all you could goddamn say? Within, you could actually feel the tensity and the sparks basically between the two. Within, soon, Asuya saying, Issei, why are you acting so disrespectful? Within, Issei basically snapping out of his, hatred, then looking at Asuya saying, sorry Asuya, this guy really creases me after all. He's just so annoying, saying, that's my line, dumbass. Especially since you let those idiot friends of yours spread those rumors about me. Within, saying, hey, don't talk about my friends like that, asshole. Saying, I'll talk how I want, you waste of space to society. With Issei saying, you prick. With Leon saying, asshole. Within, without warning, both Issei's ear was being pulled by that of Rias, and Leon's ear was being pulled by that of Sona. Within, both of them wincing in pain. Within, Rias saying, Issei, show some respect at least. You don't have to like him, but at least be a lot more respectful around me. Within, Sona saying, same goes for you, Leon. You're a member of my peerage and a lot more responsible than that of Hayato. At least try. Within, Issei basically caving in saying, yes, chief, I understand. However, Leon saying, will you let go of my ear, damn it? Within, the two let go, as Leon looks at Sona, annoyed, saying, fine, I'll at least try. But no promises. With that, they basically let their pawns go. Within, soon, Leon still glaring at Issei, with Issei still glaring back. Within, Asuya going over to Leon, saying, hi, I'm Asuya Argento. It's a pleasure to meet you. Within, saying, Asuya Argento, as she offers her hand up to that of Leon, within also shaking her hand saying, "Oh wait, yeah, I remember. You're the new girl that everybody won't shut up about." Within, Asya getting a little confused saying, "Everybody's talking about me?" Within, him basically confused saying, "How the fuck does she not know?" However, before she could ask any more questions, that's when Issei basically grabs Leon Tan and basically starts to crush it. With him getting annoyed at this, "Hey, don't be mean and rude to Asya. Try to show a little respect." Within soon getting kneed into that of the gut, as Issei basically gasping out of pain, letting go of Leon Tan. Before then, him shaking it, saying, "Damn it, what the hell is with your grip? I know you just became a new reincarnated devil, but just seriously, what the hell? Also, respect? Why would I need to show you respect? Especially her, when I just met her." Before then, sighing, saying, "Look, Prez, we got to meet that of the newest members of the Gremory peerage. Can we go now?" Within, Sona saying, "Not just yet, Leon." Within, Konako looks at that of Leon. Before then, "You're quite rude." Within, being annoyed at that of Konako. Within saying, "I know you ain't talking, you damn mascot. Your very definition of rude." Within, she getting annoyed at that of Leon. Ash still basically eating out of her sweets. Within soon, Sona saying, "All right, that's enough, Leon. No need to start an entire fight with the Gremory peerage," saying, "Honestly, I'm not the one starting shit." Goroko spoke up saying, "Yeah, Senpai's just defending himself. Lady President, if anything, Hayato and Toja are the ones just being mean to him than anything." Within, hearing that, both Gremory peerage members couldn't help but take that lying down. Before then, Sona saying, "That's enough, Ryuko. Also, Rias, I hope besides our newest members of our peerage meeting with one another, we need to talk about what's going to happen in the next couple of days." Saying, yes. I was actually just telling that of my newest servants about this, that they need familiars. Don't tell me that you also plan on going to the familiar forest as well." But then, Leon narrowing his eyes a bit, saying, "Familiar forest? The hell?" But then Sona saying, "I was actually about to tell him about this. But it was also coming up too. Ryuko hasn't even gained that of her familiar as well. Alongside that of one of my longest members of my peerage, Tsubasa." Within, Tsubasa saying, "Yeah, haven't really thought about it that much. And I don't really care, to be fair." But then, Leon saying, "Why the hell do you guys need familiars? I know you guys basically have them, at least that of Prez, Vice Prez, Hanake, alongside that of Ryukai, even that of Tomoe. But I'm surprised that you two don't." Within, Ryuko saying, "Well, I just haven't found one that fits me, to be honest." Within, and Tsubasa saying, "Like I said, not that really on a rush to get that of familiar, to be fair, if I'm going to be honest." While the conversation between Rias and Sona basically go on, Leon begins to think, "A familiar? Familiar? Oh wait, like those MMOs I used to play, like the pets that act as either that of, well, just accessory companions that tag along with you, or they help you out in combat and battle. That makes way much more sense." Before blinking multiple times saying, "Wait, I don't even need a familiar. My literal secret gear is basically creating familiars." Within, each and every one of his blades basically saying, "Duh!" As he basically wanted to slap his face, and also wanted to tell that of his, and is about to tell that of his king. Before then, Rhea saying, "Then we'll settle this with that of a game between us. Whoever wins will gain that of the slot to go to the familiar forest." Within, Sona adjusting her glasses saying, "Agreed." Before then, Leon saying, "What the hell did they just agree to?" Within, Rei saying, "They're planning on having that of a dispute, which isn't the first time that this has happened." Saying, "This isn't the first. You've got to be shitting me." The very next day, during after school, currently, that of Rias, Sona, Tsubaki, Akano are currently at that of the tennis club tennis court, at least the practice court. as they're currently wearing that of tennis uniforms with that of really short ass skirts, as this would basically be the way to decide on who gets the slot for the familiar forest. And unfortunately for Leon, it also basically brought in a damn crowd, with almost half of the school basically being here, even the perverted trio. With Leon basically taking off his glasses and pinching the bridge of his nose, saying, "Remind me, why are we doing the debate like this in front of everybody in the school?" Within Tsubasa saying, last time I heard, I think it's because the last time that they started crap like this, it nearly destroyed the school. Luckily, we kind of basically fixed it beforehand. Luckily, one of the members of the tennis club is also part of the supernatural. So to make sure that they weren't being found out, she basically allowed permission for that of President and that of Lady Gremory to use the tennis court to settle disputes between the two of them. With Tomoe basically commenting saying, it basically gets the job done and it gives out of the school a show. Within Leon saying, I've never even bothered with shit like this. I'm always part of the go home club. Within Tomoe saying, well then, you're in for a treat now. Within looking back at that of Tsubaki, who continues to glance at that of Leon, as she basically adjusting that of her skirt. Within, Tomoe can help but smirk saying, I think you should keep an eye on that of the vice prez after all. Within, Leon looking at the redhead saying, and why the hell is that? With her having that of a teasing smirk saying, just watch. Within, Momo looking at that of the two and couldn't help but sigh at their conversation, especially at that of Tomoe, knowing the reason why she told that of Leon to look at that of, Vice President Tsubaki. As the tennis game is basically on full swing, unfortunately, the tennis game is so popular that everybody's. As for that of Leon, keeping an eye on that of Tsubaki for some reason, he finally noticed the reason why. Her skirt is way shorter than the others, causing that of the African-American Japanese boy to basically blush like crazy. Before then, pinch the bridge of his nose, before then saying, I'm out. Within, Tomoe saying, just like that? Within, Tsubasa could help come in saying, come on, any guy would basically love this stuff. Within, Leon saying, well, good for me. I'm not just any guy. Before then, huffing, saying, seriously, at least have some self-decency. As he couldn't help but mutter this to himself. However, that of his, fellow peerage members could hear this. Before then, Tomoe saying, you do know she made her skirt a lot more shorter for him, right? Within, Tsubasa saying, oh yeah, probably, but to him, he probably doesn't think about that. Probably was just to make him feel uncomfortable. Within, Momo saying, I tried telling Vice President Tsubaki that he wouldn't like it, but she was dead set on trying to impress him. Within, Ryoko saying, I'll keep an eye on that of Senpai. He'll probably still be around. As the twin-tailed girl basically runs after them. However, the tennis game keeps going on, especially the fact that Issei continues to cheer for that of Rias constantly. With that of the two members of the perverted trio basically taking pictures of everything, especially lingering on that of Tsubaki because of her skirt. As the tennis match basically continues going on, with the entire court almost looking completely destroyed, within them basically huffing as the crowd begins to thin and head out of the school. But soon, Ria saying, well then, we have been at this for quite a long time, and I don't seeing this turning into that of a turning point for this game anytime soon. But then, Sona huffing as well, saying, agreed. I think it's best that we settle this with that of a decisive game. As for Leon, he's currently at that of the bleachers, playing with that of his handheld game, within realizing, are we done? Thank God. Within Newt materializing, saying, unfortunately, Commander, it seems we have something else to handle. Within, looking at that of the massive arm Newt. Before then, Issei noticed that of Newt, saying, holy crap, who the hell? Before noticing her attire, as he couldn't help but blush, especially looking at that of her chest, saying, holy crap, she's... Without warning, he basically tosses that of his chrono katana of Newt's into that of Issei's forehead. Within him knocking Issei out on the ground before rematerializing it into his hands. Before then, Newt saying, Commander, hey, no one has the right to look at you like that. You are more than just my creation. You are one of my closest friends. Like hell, I'll let that asshole ogle you like that. With Newt, couldn't help but actually blush, hearing this from that of her creator, saying, thank you, Commander. Before then, going over saying, please tell me we're done. Within, Momo saying, about that, Takumi-kun. Before then saying, shit. Heading that to the gym, within realizing, we're playing a damn dodgeball game? While everybody is basically in out of their gym uniforms, especially all the girls. However, for some weird reason, they're basically all wearing bloomers. Even those from that of, Rias' peerage as well, outside of Issei and Kiba, who have that of shorts on. As the only guy who isn't wearing that of gym uniform is basically Leon, still in his school uniform and one of his sweatshirts under it after all. With then Sona saying, Leon-kun, you have to take part in this. I mean, the Gremory peerage may have lesser members than us, but we still have the numbers advantage. Not to mention, I would prefer it if you did tag along with this. Within, Leon saying, yeah, no, I am not wasting my time with something so stupid if you just listen to me for a bit. With Sona saying, I will listen to you. However, after this game is over, could you at least try and take part? Saying, look, I won't take part because how stupid this is, like I just said. But before then, bringing his left hand up, before then accessing his sacred gear, Annihilation Maker. Before then soon deciding to create that of another new blade. However, instead of it being a special type of blade with its own personality and everything like that, he decides to just do something a little bit more simple, make things easier on him. As then he creates that of a humanoid appearance. However, they have that of, their entire body is basically black skin with that of blue overlay over it. That also having that of an exobody armor, which is mainly just white over its shoulders, its chest, and back. Getting its appearance is it's basically a plain normal appearance with that of two horns sticking out of its head, with that of its blank blue eyes. Before then soon it begins to materialize that of gauntlets. As it begins to do that of a simple 1-2 jab, before then having that of an uppercut, as it has that of the power of fire. Within saying, call me Chrono, I'm here to help out. Within soon, everybody completely and utterly shocked. Before then soon, Leon saying, Chrono, help him out. I'll be out here on the side. You got it, boss. As he gives a salute to that of Leon, who's now walking away to the bleachers, saying, I'm at your disposal, ma'am. What do you need me to do? Within, Sona saying, I forget on how easily he can do stuff like this. Within, Tsubaki saying, that's Leon-kun for you. Always thinking smarter instead of harder. Within, Momo saying, I'll be referee. As for Issei saying, hey, what the hell, asshole? You're not going to decide to do this yourself? Come on, at least stand up and act like a man and stand your ground. But then Leon basically pulling out that of his handheld game once again saying, what the fuck does me being my gender have to do with anything like this, dumbass? I just don't want to play the damn dodgeball game. That's all, dumbass. Within Konoko saying, wimp, saying, piss off, you annoying ass mascot. Within hearing that, without warning, she soon basically throws that of one of the dodgeballs towards Leon. Within Leon noticing it, however, it's coming pretty damn fast for him to try and react, but materializing that of one of his blades, being that of Godfrey. Within him using that of his hammer shield to basically defend that of Leon. Within saying, oh, that was close, and damn. Before looking at that of his hammer shield, realizing that there's one big ass crack indented into it, saying, holy shit, she's strong. Within, Leon also noticing the crack, saying, she has to be a rook. No way she's that powerful and that strong to throw just a simple ass dodgeball. But then soon, Konako couldn't help but basically huff before then walking off, as then Leon saying, there's no way, how strong is that of Gremory's peerage? Hayato's basically weak as hell. That Argento girl is basically, doesn't even seem like she has a pure violet bone in her body. Then what the hell is that of Kiba Himejima senpai like? Just proves it even more. I can't waste my damn time basically doing stupid shit like this. I have to get stronger. No, I need to get stronger. Seeing that, Tsubaki couldn't help but basically narrow her eyes, looking at that look on Leon's face. The look of feeling inadequate, feeling weak. But then, she couldn't help but basically get angry at that of Konako. Before then, as the dodgeball game basically begins, it kind of basically just goes the same as it would have in canon, to be honest. Dodgeball game happens, everybody trying their best, Issei getting a nut shot to his jewels by that of Sona, and Ria's basically winning it using that of her devil magic with that of the dodgeball, knocking out everybody from Sona's team. But then, Leon saying, once again, why are you idiots overreacting over a damn sports game for crying out loud? Act like a normal people, damn it! Even with that, Ria still won that the slot to the familiar forest. Within, everybody in that of Sona's peerage basically being healed up by that of Core and also by that of Dahlia. Hell, even Abrona actually healed them up too, as the recovery being a lot more faster than it would have if they just allowed that of their devil physiology to basically take in. Within, soon saying, are we done here? Within, Sona sighing, saying, yes, we are. Apologies for not getting the slot that you needed for that of familiar forest. Within, Leon slapping his face, saying, Prez, this is what I've been trying to tell you the entire damn time. I don't need a damn familiar. Within, Sona saying, you don't? Within, Dahlia saying, no, Shug, he does not need a familiar. Because you're basically looking at them. Within, Sona realizing, oh, right, Annihilation Maker. That makes absolute sense now. Within, soon, Riai also realizing, that makes your very sacred gear is basically familiar creation. You're basically creating your familiars. Within saying, yeah, pretty much. Within Tsubaki saying, honestly, I've kind of already known that from the beginning. Within, everybody looking at that, the long, black, raven-haired, glasses-wearing third year, still having her stoic look. Within, Sona saying, figured you would, Tsubaki. Within, Leon saying, well, at least one of you realized this. Thanks for noticing, Senpai, but why didn't you say anything ahead of time? But then she basically blushing, saying, I have my reasons. And she did all this mainly to find a way to impress that of Leon, which basically backfired horribly. But then also looking at that of Ryuko and also that of Tsubasa, saying, if you guys want familiars, you can basically take a few of my blades to help out before you get that of your official familiars. How does that sound? A lot easier? Within hearing that, both girls couldn't help but nod before then saying, good. Now, excuse me, I'm going back home. I got some training to do. Within hearing this, she's saying, you have some training to do? Saying, yes. For example, that damn mascot, Konako Taojo. Within, everybody looking at that of Leon as he basically grits his fist, saying she's definitely a rook. But she's a rook so much stronger than that of Tsubasa. There's strong and then there's unnatural strong. Within, Sona adjusting her glasses saying, that makes sense that you would be able to notice a lot more easier. That's because, unlike the rest of us, Konako Taojo isn't really a human. She's basically another supernatural race. Within, hearing that, Leon saying, that makes way too much sense now. Within, Tsubasa saying, damn, that sucks. Well, just basically proves I gotta get stronger. But then she basically going over to Leon saying, hey, you don't mind if I tag along and train with you? But then hearing this, saying, wait, you want to help? But soon, Oberon is saying, looks like somebody's actually willing to put in the work. With then, of course, saying, oh, totes, this is going to be interesting. But then she also bringing up that of her fist saying, oh yeah, I want to get stronger as well. I need to, if I'm going to protect that of President 2. Can't leave all the heavy lifting to you, right? Within hearing that, Leon can help but smirk saying, you know what? Hell yeah. At least somebody's willing to put in the work. But then Ruko couldn't help but basically puff her cheeks saying, senpais, let me help out. I want to get stronger too. But then Leon saying, huh? You sure? Saying, is her basically nodding her head over and over as he couldn't help but smirk saying, all right, follow me to my place. Well, then soon Tsubasa saying, oh, you're going to your dorm room? That's quite scandalous. Within him basically knuckle hitting her in her stomach. But then she couldn't help but wince a little bit in pain. Before then saying, it's not like that, you idiot. Seriously, for a girl who's not a pervert, you really have a dirty ass mind. But then saying, no, I'm talking about my place, my home. I've been using that place as basically a sparring area. It's still in the, residential district here in town, but at least I have a big backyard where nobody wouldn't really bother us. And to be honest, most of the people that work there have that of night shifts before having that of morning shifts after all. But then hearing that, Tomo is saying, oh, so that's how you've been improving. But then Leon saying, damn straight. So now that we're done with this dumb shit and this whole familiar bolt crisis is basically over with, can I go now? But then Sona saying, yes, you may. Saying, later. As he waves back alongside that of Tsubasa and also Ryuko. But then Sona saying, for once, even I didn't see this coming, and I should have, to be honest. Tsubaki saying, you're trying too hard to impress him. But then Sona saying, you're one to talk, Tsubaki. Don't think I haven't noticed that short skirt of yours during that of the tennis game. You were really trying to get his attention with that of your panty shots, weren't you? But then she's saying, guilty as charged. And aren't you worried that many of the students that would take pictures, especially the perverted duo, and within, she couldn't help but smirk saying, do not worry. I actually put a spell over me and used one of that of my old family sutra charms after all. Anybody that try taking pictures of me, they'll just basically see that of a white flash, making them completely and utterly useless. Add that with my Mirror Alice sacred gear, it was basically pointless at all for any of them to do anything. Within hearing this, Sona saying, you are way too smart. And it was mainly for that of Leon-kun. Within, Momo couldn't help but sigh saying, as much as I hate to admit it, he's a lot more smarter than we give him credit for. Within, Ryokai saying, but I wish he would at least show that of President a lot more respect. He's a member of this peerage now. Within, Sona saying, he's just doing it in his own way. And to be honest, he's actually acting a lot more better than he did have when he first came to Kuo. Hearing this, Dahlia saying, so you've noticed too. Within, seeing that of the remaining 3 blades. Within, Sona saying, I thought the 3 of you would be heading to that of Leon. Korra could up and say, well, we are. We just wanted to talk a little bit before we head back. And since you've noticed, he's acting a lot more, blunt and a lot more and a lot more opened instead of being a lot more closed off, isn't he? Tsubaki noticed saying, yes, I have noticed. Normally, he would always be a lot more quiet and at least try to dodge questions a lot more. But lately, he's been at least a lot more upfront with us. Within, Abrona basically giggling saying, that's because you're seeing the real Leon Takumi. He seems like he's basically being an asshole, which personally he kind of is. But in reality, he's just trying to open up to you more. Just let you know, he does get easily annoyed after all, when it comes to people not trying to think of logical reasoning after all. Within Ria, I couldn't help but scoff saying, he's in the supernatural now. logic and reasoning mean nothing when it comes to this world. With then Dahlia smiling saying, and that's exactly why you need to be patient. He'll get a handle of it in due time. But for the meantime, just keep out looking out for him. And try and take an interest in him instead of forcing him to do stuff that he doesn't want to just yet. And in time, you'll see the real Leon Takumi even more. With that, all three blades disappear. With then hearing the words of advice from that of his blades, Sona and the rest of the other members of Citrus Peerage plan on listening to that, would take those words to heart in the near future. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. So, how did you guys like this part? Like I said, this is basically just to skip all of the dumb ass, side shit that DxD has all the time. Basically all the gag bullshit, etchy shit, and a lot of other dumb shit as well. After this, we'll basically be going into that of a small training arc before getting into that of the new arc that's going to be basically taking place during that of the whole Riser situation with Rias and her peerage. As for Issei, you guys noticed that I didn't bring up that of the boosted gear. Yeah, he still doesn't have it yet. Hopefully he gets it before the whole rating game situation. So let's have a big hope there. As for that of Leon and Issei's relationship, yeah, these two basically downright hate each other. And I mean hate each other. But you'll know the reason why. It's not as simple as Issei being a perv and Leon basically being an outsider / so-called pretty boy in Issei's eyes. This basically is going to go down quite differently as the series goes on. I won't say it why, but you'll figure it out later on. So, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to date my videos upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, other channel, Patreon, Cash App, and PayPal. All links description below if I'm not too lazy to do so. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, hope you all take care.